Let's switch gears to politics, where President Trump announced a 25% tariff on all cars and car parts shipped to the U.S., drawing global criticism. Canada's prime minister saying, quote, the move was a direct attack that violated the U.S.-Mexico-Canada trade agreement. Meanwhile, a federal judge will hold an emergency hearing today over the cabinet-level signal chat about a Yemen attack that inadvertently included a journalist. Joining us now to discuss all things surrounding this, our guy is back, Mr. Sean Pittman, political strategist and author of the book Disaffected. Good to see you, Sean. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, Guy. Good to see you, man. What do you want to talk about today?
All right, let's dig into it. We're going to talk about one of the big stories of the day, and that happens to be a federal judge that will hold an emergency hearing today. That's set to get underway just after 4 p.m. At issue, the cabinet-level signal chat about a Yemen attack that, yet again, inadvertently included a journalist, as Trump and his top officials downplay the sensitivity of the information shared. Sean, what do you expect to happen with this?
I'm really not sure yet what will happen, but there are some things that we do know, right? I mean, we know that this chat was created on Signal, and it was created to have these discussions. Hegseth is saying that it wasn't conversations that shouldn't be had, right? And he certainly has the ability to decertify these conversations, but I think it speaks more to his lack of judgment here. Maybe he doesn't have the experience to do this job, but we need to, number one, keep our men and women safe in uniform. And if we're being, frivolous, or we're not using secure channels to talk about missions, it puts them at risk. And so I think, I don't know where the court will end up here, but I think the court of public opinion is that we've got to hold some accountability here of our leaders, and it's especially in the same light that we will hold our military. Imagine if one of our military officers were the person or the people that we were talking about that talked about these issues on a channel that ended up having a journalist. I think we know what would happen there. So I think the court of public opinion is the one that's probably most important right here, I think especially for President Trump.
Well, you just made mention of the public court of opinion. In this case, we're going to talk about the opinion from the White House, and they're calling it a hoax. So yet again, I'll pose the question, should someone lose their job as a result of what happened?
Look, I think if the person who started this chat on Signal would have been one of our military officers, I think that person would have been asked to step down already. So I think the public expects similar accountability, even in our political appointees. And so I know that there's a court of one that will be making this decision. And I know that the president has said that he doesn't know whether the language was even supposed to be protected. But we were talking about a mission here, a mission where our troops were going to be in harm's way. And a reporter ended up on this line. Just imagine if any of that information seeped out and our men and women were, their lives were in jeopardy because of that. This is very serious, and I think everybody needs to take it that way.
All right, Sean, we'll move on to the second big story of the day, and that happens to surround what I would argue happens to be the word of the year, and that is tariffs. In this case, we know that President Trump's 25% tariff on all cars and car parts shipped to the U.S. now drawing global criticism. Canada's prime minister, as I stated before, said that this is a direct attack that violated the U.S.-Mexico-Canada trade agreement. Sean, plain and simple, this will result in higher prices for cars.
Cars, eggs, groceries, rent. Listen, it's hard to imagine that these tariffs won't impact everyday spending. Cars will get more expensive. Elon Musk has even said that the Teslas would get more expensive. So I think that ship has sailed, that we all understand that. I think, though, it now has to go back to how moving in this direction connects with campaign promises to make life more affordable for people. And I think that's where we are. But the tariffs, it's hard to imagine that these type of decisions won't have an immediate impact on our pocketbooks. Maybe it'll be settled and sorted out later, but immediately it will have an impact. And I don't think that's a secret.
Sean, you made mention of Mr. Elon Musk. We know earlier today that he stated that, in essence, the price of Teslas will actually probably go up as well. For him to say that, yet we see him time and time again, side by side next to President Trump. Do you think this will, in essence, cause a rift between the two?
I think everybody has been waiting to see that, right? Because ultimately, these type of relationships we've seen with Donald Trump in the past have all ended very quickly, and they end abruptly, and somebody loses their job. So people have been counting on that, and but I think there's more people counting on it than it actually being any evidence that is really going to happen. Is it likely? Yeah, because political relationships break up. Is the president going to get exhausted with people saying that Elon Musk is really running the country? Of course he might. Anybody with an ego, any powerful person would. The question probably on most of the pundits is not if, but when.
All right, we'll end with this, Sean, and that is the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services announcing today that, well, they're cutting some 10,000 full-time employees across health agencies. This yet again comes on top of 10,000 employees who left voluntarily, amounting to shrinking by a quarter of the workforce. Yet again, do you think this is something we will continue to see over the next months and or years?
Certainly over the next few months. And this is a sad situation, right? I mean, first we had people sort of forced to volunteer their jobs, and now you're seeing that we're in a fiscal situation that is causing these jobs to be cut. And you cannot have that type of mass exodus, whether voluntary or not, without it having an impact on the quality of work, the end result here. And that's something that we have to keep watching. We hope, because listen, whether you support Donald Trump or not, whether you support Doja or not, the bottom line is we need our government to be successful. These are very important matters that these folks who in these jobs that are being lost, that they were dealing with. So we need them to be successful. So we hope that down the line, as we go forwards in months, and I hope not years, Guy, that all of this is worked out and we get back to a point of full productivity.
Well, to your point, I think you're correct. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you stand on. I think we all want our government to be very successful. Hey, Sean, folks want to grab your book. How would they go about to do so? Yet again, it's entitled Disaffected.
I tell you, I'd love to give somebody this one. But listen, thank you for mentioning it. And it's so perfect for the time that we're in right now, Guy. It has all the answers. So everybody go check out Disaffected.
All right, there we have it. Mr. Sean Pittman, political strategist and author, joining us right here on the Live Zone. Always good to see you, Sean. Make it a great day.
Good to see you, Guy. Thank you again.